More now on this news that's just come through in the last 20 minutes or so. The Australian Securities and Investments Commission has confirmed it will investigate the Commonwealth Bank's handling of those suspicions that its intelligent deposit machines were used by money launderers and criminal gangs, and not in a small way, in a huge way. Senior business correspondent Peter Ryan joins us now. So, Peter, we've been following this story all this week. How significant a development is this?
Well, this is quite a big development, Joe, and basically this is about ASIC, the corporate regulator, looking at whether the Commonwealth Bank complied with its obligations for continuous disclosure. Basically, should they have disclosed to investors in the stock market the suspicions that its intelligent deposit machines might have been at risk from money launderers and criminal gangs. We heard earlier this week that the CBA's chairman, Catherine Livingstone, said that the CBA board became aware of suspicions that these machines might be at risk in the second half of 2015, and ASIC is going to be looking at whether or not the CBA complied with its disclosure laws. And now the CBA has been adamant in the last couple of days that they believe they did not have a requirement to report these suspicions. Others, though, including ASIC, are wondering whether or not there was enough evidence around or suspicions around to alert stockholders in the stock exchange to any potential material risk to the CBA share price.
So this is separate from the other action against the Commonwealth Bank, because there are 53,000 separate charges, aren't there? And that's AUSTRAC which has brought those charges?
That's right. You have AUSTRAC, which is the Financial Intelligence Agency, looking at these alleged breaches of the Commonwealth Bank. The ASIC investigation is quite separate. It's coming in over the top of the AUSTRAC investigation, but looking specifically whether or not the CBA was right in thinking that they did not have a requirement to alert shareholders. And on the big results day, when the CBA reported $9.93 billion full-year profit, I put the question to Chief Executive Ian Narev that if there were suspicions, why was the share market not informed? And he said that at the time they didn't see enough evidence, and that the CBA would be making a lot of announcements to the stock exchange if they reported every single breach and suspicion. But they're going to have to wait to see what ASIC thinks about this and whether or not they complied with those continuous disclosure obligations, including obligations to act efficiently, honestly and fairly.
And so just talk us through the basic allegations and what the Commonwealth Bank has already, because it's made some concessions around this already, hasn't it, that conceding that it did actually happen to some extent. Yeah,
the CBA's Chief Executive Ian Narev has conceded that mistakes were made. He has said that the 54,000 figure is somewhat inflated or exaggerated, but he's been talking more about a single coding error that really caused these breaches to explode. The CBA said that these computer glitches were sorted out some time ago, and they'd made significant changes to management, hired about 50 financial intelligence professionals to ensure this matter was sorted out. But as you were saying before, on the one hand you have the AUSTRAC investigations into these 54,000 breaches. How did money launderers and criminal gangs allegedly get their hands on these machines or work out how to manipulate these machines? The ASIC investigation, which has just been announced in the last 30 minutes, is purely about whether or not the Commonwealth Bank was fully transparent to its shareholders and the overall market about any risk that it might have seen, and whether or not they had enough information at the time to tell the share market.
And just in layman's terms, people were dumping tens of thousands of dollars in deposit machines because they knew they could do that anonymously. Is that how it was working?
Well, these intelligent deposit machines that the CBA was using were able to take $20,000 in cash or cheque at any time. One issue is that any cash transaction over a $10,000 threshold is meant to be reported to AUSTRAC, the Financial Intelligence Agency. CBA has sorted out this glitch, and it's quite complex that criminals had found allegedly loopholes to manipulate these machines to drop large amounts of money, to wash this dirty money, and the CBA believes that has been fixed. But the CBA has said that they will be filing a defence against these allegations while admitting that mistakes were made. They don't concede everything. We won't be seeing this going to the federal court until early next month.
Okay, Peter, thanks for keeping across those developments, and no doubt we'll be hearing much more about this story. Cheers.